not easy to do what you did.
I cast you out!
Please open your eyes.
Well, it helped me. It was very enjoyable to be able to talk with Chris and with the producer, Kevin Feige, about how the central part of the story, perhaps, that we started with was Thor. The subtitle might have been Fathers and Sons, or The Man Who Would Be King. And the very first film I directed, Henry V, was about a young prince, reckless, some would say arrogant.
Do you swear to guard the lives of the innocent and preserve the peace?
I swear.
There were characters that we explored. It's a vast universe of characters, and we chose not to use many people in the script. And then there were many scenes that were part of the development of the cut that were taken out in the end, and none of them that were, in the end, ones that I would have preferred to be there. So the film is the film, but there's plenty that could have been in the film, and you won't see a director's cut, at least I don't think so, I mean, because I feel as though you just watched the director's cut, but there'll be a lot of interesting material. We had more of certain characters, and I'm sure we'll make it available. It's all an interesting, honest part of the journey.
I have no plans to die today.
I think you have to go in making the film that you want to make. We spent 3 months talking about, did we want to make the same film? And they brought me along for a reason, which was, I think, not to try and construct a fight between us or control me, but because they wanted to have my guidance on how I thought the story of Thor could develop, because they just spent 5 years getting stuck with the question of tone. What I chose to completely ignore was the franchising, licensing, merchandising, any of that kind of thing. And I simply concentrated on what interested me, which was the story of Thor, and I started with his journey, and I worked outwards from there. And I would say that I had all the appropriate freedom and artistic direction as director that I would have. Sometimes it was with some very passionately held discussions, but that would be true on every single film.
It was incredible. I mean, Ken, as you know, is an actor and a director, so he understands from an acting point of view the things that are beneficial, and also, you know, the things to say and the things not to say. Is incredibly, you know, explorative, and the biggest thing I got from the film was not locking the character into a box and walking a tightrope of exactly how I wanted to play it. I certainly didn't come at it with that attitude. It was more the attitude of, you know, being willing to work with Ken, and the opportunity to be able to explore many avenues of the character. And Ken was just full of ideas, you know, obviously an incredibly educated background of character. I think what the interesting thing about the film was often these films can be about the special effects and the spectacle of it all, where this was that was taken care of, certainly, but it was a strong character-driven story. And you know, as an actor, you know, amongst a film that size, I couldn't have been more supported, and you know, having someone that I could trust to, you know, be free with my choices and try different things, and you know, through that there's a spontaneity, and I think creates a surprise with the audience of what they see. It's not expected.
I will return.
Well, it was easier because it was Natalie Portman. She is, you know, as sweet and wonderful as you'd imagine, and obviously very, she's a beautiful woman and extremely talented, and across the board, you know, I couldn't have, you know, felt more supported. She just, you know, come off working a couple of films actually, and was, you know, on one hand, exhausted from the training she'd done, and we were comparing notes on, you know, my weightlifting and her ballet, and there was, you know, vast differences and similarities, and you know, but we had a great time. You know, she had a great sense of humour, and I think that the characters needed to have that. You know, there was both of them were sort of outcast in a sense. Thor was from another universe, and Jane's character was, you know, had an obsession with a theory that everyone else thought was kind of madness. So in that, they found comfort in each other, and it was a whole lot of fun to play with. Yeah, no, it's a dream to play a superhero, and let alone what was exciting about this was, you know, taking on something that, I mean, it had a fan base, but also a lot of people didn't know about it. And you know, as Ken said, we weren't making a remake. We were doing something different, and he was the first god out of the group of superheroes we'd seen. And you know, that I didn't really think about the sort of God aspect of it. You know, Ken and I talked a lot, and it was about finding the truth in these scenes and making them relatable to us and also as an audience. And so it became about scenes between fathers and sons and brothers, and you know, possible sort of romance, and that was, you know, I think in effect to keep simplifying it, because the universe was so huge, and the idea of playing gods, and I mean, there's no one to interview or talk to or research in that sense. You know, you can read about the mythology and you know, get as many, I guess, influences and characteristics, and the same with the comic books, which is, you know, probably the biggest research or resource that I have.